Today, I'd like to tell you the story of one of the biggest new media advertising companies in the world. They've made headlines and been featured by prominent magazines, hailed as genius entrepreneurs, and produced massively successful documentaries, made millions of dollars. But there's something sinister underneath. For this is a story of theft, betrayal, and memes. This is the story of frickjerry. Of course, the company is not actually known as frickjerry. It's the other four-letter word that starts with an F that I can't say. But I'd like this video to appear in people's feeds, so from now on, I'm going to be calling them frickjerry to avoid getting a mature rating on this video. frickjerry's main account is on Instagram with over 14 million followers. The foundation of their empire is entirely built on the work of other people, stealing tweets, images, posts from all around the internet, and intentionally cutting out the original credit to give the impression that it was them who created it. frickjerry is the wet dream that SoFlo Antonio always had for himself. I bet he's just rock hard right now watching this video.
I swear that I watched this one 10 times.
frickjerry is so wholly unoriginal that even their logo is lifted from a paper cup. There's not one single thing original about these guys. Let me introduce you to Vic Berger, who is a hilarious and talented video editor that worked for Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job from Adult Swim. Let's see what happens when Vic approaches one of them for stealing one of his videos that had an ad on it and asks for credit. So Vic DMs them on Instagram and says, "Hey, either delete my Ted Cruz video or give me credit." And how do you think the Chief Content Officer James Ryan Oliger responds to Vic? Does he respond with apology? Does he respond by offering to share in the revenue that was gleaned using his work? Let's see. Shut up. If you didn't care, you could have just ignored him, but to go out of your way to say shut up to the guy, to insult him, to make him feel small and powerless and more used than you already did, shut up. But guys, as always, it gets even better. Because what happens when Vic, years later, makes a video about his experience with frickjerry? How do you suppose they respond to that? Here's a clip from the video Vic made about frickjerry.
To be honest with you, it is so hard to find quality stuff that I think is good enough to post. And it takes me like a couple hours sometimes to find something. All right, so I'll find a photo, save it to my phone. Okay, I'll try this one out. I'll actually roll in. It's just a lot easier. It's just a lot easier.
Yes, they DMCA copyright striked Vic's video. You've got to appreciate the irony of a company that has built itself on stealing the content of others. Yet when someone else uses their content fairly, legally, well, we just can't have that now, can we? frickjerry can only exist in SoFlo Antonio's wet dreams. But they're slicker and they're smarter than SoFlo. They've gone through the trouble of legitimizing themselves, making them look like these brilliant meme comedians, really. Only last year, they won Best Meme Parody Account with the Shorty Awards. Now, I don't know why they call it the Shorty Awards. Maybe it's because they're the short bus of award ceremonies. But be that as it may, watch this.
So, some would say the highest form of humor is sarcasm, and they would totally be right if it weren't for memes. So, move over sarcasm.
Move over sarcasm and real comedy. The future belongs to shit posts and memes and people stealing it and posting it on Instagram for money. Move over comedy. It's meme time.
Move over sarcasm. The future belongs to the parody accounts and meme creators whose punchy humor makes us laugh. It makes us double tap, triple tap sometimes, tag our friends saying, "Ha, this is you, we've all done it." And it takes us on the cultural targets that are too good to pass up. Here are the finalists for Best Parody or Meme Account.
Adam the Creator. Bros being basic.
comedy. Woo-hoo!
Daddy issues.
Daddy issues.
Jerry.
I tell you what, I would pay not to be nominated for this award. Let's pause for a moment here. On the nominee, frickjerry, if tomato is a fruit, wouldn't that make ketchup a smoothie? Wow, that's their entry. Well, if I recall, I mean, this is an old joke. It goes back a long ways. Like, here's an example, by the way, from 2013 on Quora. If tomato is a fruit, is ketchup a tomato smoothie? So even the entry for best parody account is actually stolen.
Ha, this is you. We've all done it.
If you're somebody that cares about comedy, I cannot imagine a more horrific insult than being nominated for Best Meme Parody Account by the Shorty Awards.
And the Shorty Award for Best Parody or Meme Account goes to...
And the Short Bus Award goes to...
Oh, I can say this without getting in trouble. Jerry!
Yes! Move over, comedy. Look how thrilled everyone is for him.
Thank you so much. This is so awesome. I had a really, really long speech, but you know, you guys said keep it brief, so thank you so much, shorties. Thank you, everybody.
Freeze frame. This charismatic and eloquent young man is Elliot Tabili, the owner and founder of frickjerry. Elliot's so used to taking every shortcut possible in life that he tries exiting off the wrong side of the stage. Well, it didn't work out this time. We need to appreciate that he went for a high five. The other guy was motioning to the other side of the stage. It's a minor gaffe, but I feel honor bound to at least point it out. It is kind of a joy. Well, Elliot, if you didn't start frickjerry for a passion for entertainment, or for getting people through a hard day, or for uplifting creators and giving more an audience to their work, then why did you start it?
I never had a specific goal. I just always wanted to make money, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Here they are at South by Southwest, trying to act like they actually do anything except reposting other people's content. Luckily, they expose themselves every time they open their mouth.
So, what are the ingredients to the perfect meme that people really connect with? Is there a perfect formula?
At the heart, like the heart and soul of a meme is like the relatability.
Yeah.
And it's usually topical stuff, but it might be stuff that's completely like random that nobody thinks about, like, or nobody expresses on their day-to-day life, but like hits like a pinpoint. You know, I don't know, is it a good example for it, but.
When you try to define what a meme is on stage at South by Southwest, I think you've already lost the meme war. You know, this dude reminds me a lot of SoFlo, and not because he steals other people's work, but because he's got the same dead, soulless eyes.
Don't lie. I watched this one 17 times.
Just sell out to a brand, I think is important.
Do you know why he's so obsessed with memes? Because he's never learned to be relatable himself. He needs the memes to survive. It's like eating babies to prolong your lifespan. Up next is a really beautiful, decisive moment in frickjerry's life because he has convinced the world that he is a meme god. So what happens when ABC News shows up doing a report on him and puts them on the spot and says, you guys, create this meme right now. Let's see if frickjerry can hold up to the pressure.
All right, let's do it. Meme this.
We're here with 3 of the top meme masters on Instagram and putting them to the test. How would they help this picture of Donald Trump become a meme sensation?
Ooh, when she pulled that out and said meme this, like, woo, they start sweating bullets. Oh man.
Meme this. Meme this. Meme this.
Don't worry, I got us, B.
Read the whole thing.
Meme this.
Don't worry, I got us, B.
Don't worry, I got us, B. Oh! Move over, comedy. Am I right, folks? Hashtag relatable. Bow, knockout.
And the likely winner?
When your stepdad comes and drags you out of the party.
When your stepdad comes and drags you out of the party? Yeah! I actually have a couple ideas for that meme I'd like to pitch to you. Tell me what you think. That face when Instagram cracks down on copyright theft. Anyone? Big laughs? Big lols? One more. That face when everyone unfollows Frick Jerry. Feels bad, doesn't it? Big laughs though. Huge laughs.
Making memes is what 25-year-old Elliot Tabelli does for a living.
Making memes? Stealing memes.
He created the now famous Instagram account, that four-letter word we can't say, Jerry.
I'd like to post things that people normally wouldn't say out loud, or you read it and like super strangely relatable.
Like when you're feeling fat after a long weekend, or when you're at work checking the time. All those posts heard round the internet got their viral start here.
You know, this is proof that if they're not overtly lying about creating this content, they're definitely letting her believe that they do. Because she's reporting them like they're the meme geniuses, that all these memes got their viral start right here. Let's see what happened when these brilliant minds all come together to create these beautiful, powerful memes. Let's see how they research it.
And they let us in on another joke, the memes they're creating for Rob Lowe's Comedy Central roast.
This? Yeah, just another option. With a tattoo on his face?
Ah, yes. Go to Google Images and find a funny picture that already exists and use that. Genius. All right, well, they couldn't be making that much money off of using other people's work, could they?
Experts estimate top social media influencers like Elliot and his team are making upwards of $75,000 per branded post on Instagram.
75,000, she said? Okay, so what is the point of this video? Only to share with you a parable about a man who took a shortcut whenever he could. He stole, he lied, he exploited.
I just always wanted to make money, I guess.
He manipulated.
$75,000.
He was never held accountable, and he lived happily ever after.
Well, these guys, they're not even funny.
Happily ever after. Or did they? Because there's actually now a movement called Frick Jerry, which is a band of comedians that have been exploited and used by these guys that are pushing back and urging people to unfollow Frick Jerry. This is backed by comedians such as Tim Heidecker, Vic Berger, Patton Oswalt, John Mulaney, Whitney Cummings, Colin Hanks, Amy Schumer, Natasha Rothwell, Bobby Moynihan, Julie Klossner, just to name a few. Since the recent backlash against Frick Jerry, they've archived hundreds of Instagram posts, and Tabelli has released a statement. I know I've made enemies over the years for using content and not giving proper credit and attribution to its creators. In the early days of Frick Jerry, there were not well-established norms for reposting and crediting other people's content, especially in meme culture. Oh, well, that's just a license to steal. But Your Honor, I didn't know stealing was wrong. Instagram was still a new medium at the time, and I simply didn't give any thought to the idea that reposting content could be damaging in any way. Maybe when you started it, that's an excuse, but when you have ABC News in your office, trying to study the meme masters and they're under the impression that you created all this content, that might be a good time to be like, oh no, we're curators. We don't actually create anything. It is clear that attribution is no longer sufficient, so permission will become the new policy. Giving credit? Getting permission? I mean, these are really thoughtful, visionary guys to do this now in 2019. We want to apologize to anyone who feels we have wronged them in the past. We want to do the right thing by creators by seeking permission and giving them the credit they deserve. And also to writing checks to all the people we've ripped off and made money off their content. Oh wait, he didn't write that because they're not planning on doing that.
Just sell out to a brand, I think is important.
In short, my friends, remember this simple message. Frick Jerry. And also, move over comedy.
This is you, we've all done it.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Now please allow me to put an ad on a video that I actually own. And if you don't want the Frick Jerrys of the world tracking everything you do on the internet, then you're gonna want ExpressVPN. When you're in public using your data, there's a bunch of shady ass frickin' Jerrys out there who are trying to steal your credit card information, your social security number, your browsing data, your passwords. It's not safe out there.
And that's why I use ExpressVPN.
ExpressVPN encrypts your internet data, preventing others from sniffing your information when you're using a public Wi-Fi network. Why is ExpressVPN the best, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. They've got the fastest speeds. VPN has server locations in 94 countries, giving you plenty of options to choose the speediest one closest to you. They've got an app for every device: Windows, iOS, Android, Mac, Linux, a router. You got it, they got you covered. Easy to use, you connect in just one click. ExpressVPN is less than $7 a month and you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't feel more safe, more clean, you ain't got those frick jerrys peeking in your shorts, trying to take a peek at things that don't belong to them, then you get your money back. It's a no risk, it's all in, baby. So go to expressvpn.com/H3H3 and take back your privacy today with ExpressVPN and find out how you can get 3 months for free by clicking the link in the description. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. Thank you guys so much for watching. Papa bless. We'll see you next time. Ta-ta.